We'll go to ordinances, city manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. PO number 6478, an ordinance providing for the conduct of a special election on November 3rd, 2015, in order to fill a vacancy in position 7 pursuant to Title 11, Section 11 of the Texas Constitution, and in accordance with Chapter 271 of the Texas Election Code, and providing for the publication of the election notice.
Mayor Pro Tem.
I make a motion.
Councilmember Albright.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve proposed ordinance number 6478. Questions? Councilmember Freeman.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to put a statement out there for council to kind of get my idea about what's going on and how I feel about it. I kind of prepared some comments for it. If you just mind, give me my 2 minutes. In my opinion, we should look at the most recent AG, Attorney General opinion on this matter that was rendered July 9, 2008. This case concerned a constable that had potentially announced his candidacy for county commissioner. Some of the reported facts of this case are as follows. The constable filled out his treasury report. In his treasury report, he put that he was running for county.
Point of order, please.
Okay, what's your point, Mr. Moses?
I'm curious, City Attorney, is he allowed to speak from the bench on the issue of this or back at the podium?
My understanding is he's speaking with regard to
The issue that affects him, just like if I had a piece of property I'm selling, I'm standing here at the podium.
Yes,
I
and
should be at the podium.
we have had several instances where there's a resign to run provision. I actually have all the ordinances pulled, and council members are allowed to vote and be a part of an ordinance, an election ordinance, when even if it's a resign to run. I actually have copies for everybody to see that every time this instance has taken place, the council member that has announced does have the opportunity to vote. We are all of the council members are able to vote on an election ordinance. However, under Chapter 171 of the Local Government Code, you all have been trained on whether you should recuse yourself. So that is a matter that you all have been trained on, and you have your own personal liability or potential criminal liability if you violate 171. So it is up to the council member to determine under 171 and the extensive training that you have had on whether you believe it is a conflict of interest. If it is determined to be a conflict of interest, obviously that is a Class A misdemeanor, but it is for the council member to determine, just as in other cases, if there is a conflict, whether they should be a part of it or not. However, in every situation when we have had a resign to run issue, the council members, all council members have been allowed to vote. So if the conversation is germane to the election ordinance, then he can participate. We just have to stay on topic. But in every instance, and I think I have about 6 or 7 ordinances here where that has taken place, the council member who was required to step down did have an opportunity to vote. We are all subject, well, the council is all subject to the requirements of 171 if there's a conflict of interest, but that is a potential criminal penalty that the council member would have to look at on their own. Did I clarify?
I have.
Okay,
Okay.
Councilmember Freeman, you can continue.
I think he was.
Oh, you have
No.
You have a point of order. Or you
He didn't call. You didn't call point of order, did you?
I'm calling point of order.
Okay, what's your point, sir?
Okay, City Attorney, in this situation, I look at it as a conflict of interest because Councilman Freeman is speaking on behalf of a item that basically he will benefit financially, because this has to do with financially him benefiting. So that's a conflict of interest.
Okay. And as I stated, I have 171 open, and there is a penalty for violating Chapter 171.
I just want to make that known that to my knowledge, it's a conflict of interest. And now, if you're reading the law and you know the law, you know that if he have anything pertaining to him advancing money-wise, then that's a conflict of interest.
But yes. And
okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank
you. But
you.
with regard to conflict of interest, remember that it is up to the council member
I understand
to make that choice. If the council member makes a bad choice, they can be prosecuted.
I understand that. I thought I would let you say it out loud to the council, the full council, and to you.
Yes, sir.
My point of order, it is a conflict of interest because money is involved.
Thank
Okay? Thank you.
And
Thank
I'm going to address both of their points of order with a vote because they do have points of order that we do need to address, I believe. So, well, I think both of them have the same point of order and that they're, in regards to him speaking, your points of order are basically the same. You're saying that he should not be allowed to speak. Is that what you're saying, Councilmember?
Remove himself from the bench.
You're saying,
I'm saying because he will benefit financially, it's a conflict of interest. And that's what my point of order is about.
oh, it's a conflict of interest, but on yours, then I can't, yours, you were just saying it's a conflict of interest, and I'm not gonna, yours, we can vote on your point of order if you don't mind. And City Secretary, it will be like this, whether or not Councilmember Freeman should continue to speak from his seat, or should he speak from the podium? So if yes from his seat, and no is either yes for his continue speaking from his seat, and if no, he'll have to speak from the podium. Councilmember Freeman, I'm sorry. I gotta do what I gotta do.
Yeah, no worries.
Councilmember Albright,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Frank. Yes. Councilmember Freeman,
Yes.
Councilmember Hamilton,
Yes.
Councilmember Lewis,
No.
Councilmember Mosley,
Well, let me get this straight. So we're voting that he speaks from the podium, right?
Yes,
A
if he can
yes.
continue to speak from his seat.
No.
Councilmember Scott,
No?
Councilmember Swati,
Yes.
Mayor Prince.
Yes, continue, Councilmember Freeman.
Thank you.
And
Looks
pull
like,
your-
I just say
Ms.
something.
Teasdale?
Let me clarify. I want to make sure that everybody understands that if there's an issue with regard to a conflict of interest, that is a criminal penalty. The council cannot do anything about that, but that is a criminal penalty, and it's on you as council members. You know, again, I want to reiterate that you have had extensive training, so that is something that would be dealt with in a law enforcement fashion. It cannot be dealt with here. And in any conflict of interest, it is up to you as a council member to be educated on 171 and to make the right call. And if it is not made, then you're subject to a criminal penalty.
Thank
but
you,
it is
City
not, you know. And again, on every instance, when we have had an ordinance of this type of subject, we have allowed all council members to vote. But you have to just stay on topic. Thank you.
No, sir, you cannot. Mr. Troy? No, sir, you cannot. Councilmember Freeman, continue, if you choose to do that.
Thank you. It looks as though folks don't want me to talk today and kind of tell the side of the story. So anyway, back to what I was saying. Basically, in a nutshell, there's some removal authorities. There's an attorney general and there's a district attorney. I've been in contact with the district attorney ahead of a lot of what's been going on, speaking with the district attorney about this situation. You know, they always point to the attorney general's opinion. So I went to the most recent attorney general opinion on this subject. And before I was interrupted, predictably, it outlines kind of some of the things that they went to the AG with for the AG to render this opinion. So I just wanted to give you just 5 highlights of what exactly this guy did in the last case that went to the attorney general concerning the resign to run. So first off, the guy filled out a campaign report. In his campaign report, he put that he was seeking an office of of county commissioner when he was a constable. Maybe an automatic resignation there. Second, in a newsletter coming out from the county party, it stated that the constable had a big announcement to make that night. The third thing that they put in the violation in the reported facts was that he went to the meeting, he passed out flyers saying, I want to bring my leadership of 16 years as a constable to the commissioner's court. Passed out a flyer. Then another thing he did, he was also videotaped at the same meeting saying and referencing his campaign after he had talked about his commissioner court campaign. And then also in the minutes of the meeting, the minutes read, the constable was the speaker. He will be running for Tom Green, County Commissioner Precinct 1. This is the most recent AG opinion that came down when you sent it up. And the AG came back, and this is pretty much what the AG said. Thus, the Attorney General's final ruling was as follows. Accordingly, we cannot determine, as a matter of law, the constable announced his candidacy for another office. thereby triggering the automatic resignation provision of Article 16, Section 65. So the AG heard all these things about a guy passing out flyers, about somebody being on tape, about him telling people about the campaign, and they still came back with a decision that he didn't announce. In my opinion, between talking to the lovely Sherry Kuntz and Facebook is what this hinges on. My case falls well short of what the AG has already come down and ruled on. This was 2008 by Greg Abbott. And Greg Abbott also he also put something out, and he released to all council members. I think Ms. Tisano was referring to it in a minute ago. He put out something called Public Officers Traps for the Unwary. And in that, he made mention of someone doing a press release or someone making a statement at a public meeting. This is our Attorney General, the head attorney in Texas. So I got this letter to Ms. Val. Ms. Val came back to me and said, Derrick, there's also a case out there about where it's actually gone to court and a judge ruled against the person who had said he didn't announce. And in that case, the guy did two things. One, he did a application. He actually put in a form, filled it out, signed his name, and put it in that I'm running for this office. And then the second thing he did is he went around the city talking to all kinds of people, and one of them being a news editor, on the record, and it got put out. So those two things triggered his automatic resignation. Me personally, I disagree that I've done any of those. I think the benchmark has already been set. It's been raised fairly high, and I think I came nowhere near it. Now, as far as money goes, I was going to step away because, honestly, I never planned to be a 25-year city councilman. That never was in my plans. But once I started digging deeper, more thorough into the background information or the cases that they had, I realized that, hold on, wait, this is more personal than it is anything else. So I kind of put my stuff together, got a letter out there, and today I wanted to make sure that everybody knows what's going on as far as with the automatic resignation. I believe that we shouldn't spend the money, but again, I'm going to leave it up to council. If we want to seek an AG's opinion, that's what I think we should do. If this most recent case from the Attorney General isn't sufficient enough today, I ask that we seek an AG's opinion. That'll be for a later motion, and I'll yield my comments to hear other comments from council members. But I just wanted to put that out there. Again, this has become too much to say we're trying to serve the city, and you can serve the city of Port Arthur much greater, really, from the other side of the dais. Thank you.
And Mr. Troy, I'll allow you to speak before we vote, if you don't mind. Ms. Tisano, I want to hear from her. Okay, so I will allow you, but if you just be quiet now, because otherwise you can't interrupt this meeting. So, Ms. Tisano.
This item was put on the agenda based upon the Texas Constitution. As some of you may be aware, Attorney General opinions are persuasive authority. They're not binding authority. And basically what we're dealing with is the council having to follow the Constitution. Article 11, Section 11 of the Constitution of the state of Texas specifically states that if an announcement is made, it is an automatic resignation, and it mandates an election within 120 days. And that is the purpose of this. I notified the council of what facts were presented to us, and we've had a discussion in executive session about how we got to this place. But it is mandated by the Constitution. That is not persuasive authority. That is the Texas Constitution, in which we are bound to uphold. And I would not be doing my duty as the city attorney unless I made you aware. When this item came across, it was brought to our attention by council members that I believe there was a request for us to look at a legal opinion on whether it was applicable. And this has been done with great deliberation, great research, and there are numerous Attorney General's opinions. However, Attorney General's opinions are not binding. What is binding is the decision of a court, and if there is a dispute, the courtroom is the manner in which that it should be resolved. Even with regard to this case, I have copies of this case, and this is not a forum to debate the merits of what happened. Even the case that is before us, the Green case, basically what my interpretation of what the Attorney General has stated is that it is the duty of a fact finder to determine what happened. We don't have that authority here, and it would be the duty of a fact finder, so a fact finder would be a court of law, and there are other cases as recent as 2014, but we are not here to debate that. I definitely appreciate the council members' comments, and I just want to, again state that this was done with great deliberation, great research, but that I was bound to present an election ordinance because we would have 120 days. That would put us at November 29th, and based upon my legal opinion, we're bound to uphold the Constitution. There are other avenues in which any dispute can be resolved, but this is what we're here for today. And I appreciate your comments. I do not want to get into the, I don't think this is the forum to debate what the case has said. I do have a take on that. I can provide the council with a report, but my thorough research, and I've consulted with many attorneys on this, because I wanted to be sure, that I uphold myself with integrity and we do this in what's a right and proper manner. But I'm very certain that this is the appropriate course of action because we are bound by the Texas Constitution. Thank you.
Mr. Troy, if you care to come to the podium.
Robert Troy, 5123 Roosevelt Avenue, Port Arthur, Texas. I just wanted to make a correction that when the city attorney was quoting out, she referred to Texas State Election Code 171. It's supposed to be 271.
No, sir. I'm referring to Texas Local Government Code 171. Yeah,
But
there's some other provisions in the election code, but what I'm referring to, I don't mean to cut you off. I just wanted to clarify that I'm talking about the Local Government Code 171.
You said the state.
Yes, the state of Texas Local Government Code. I'm sorry, I'm talking about 171. Sometimes I talk too fast. I may have. Yes, sir.
We're going with the attorney, though. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Councilmember Lewis.
Yes, City Attorney, I appreciate you. I was going to talk about Article 11, Section 11, but it's Section 11, but you've covered it all, and we're bound by the Constitution. And opinions are just like anything else, and I'm not going to argue about opinions because everybody has one. Okay. That particular situation about Mr. Green or whatever, the constable, it's not even related because the Attorney General's opinions clearly stated there was no finding of facts dealing with the law. Okay, this is a constitutional thing. We are bound by the Constitution. We're bound, and we're elected officials to uphold the Constitution and the laws in the state of Texas. And if you got a problem with it, just take it to court.
Councilmember Scott.
Thank you, Mayor. City Attorney, I appreciate you explaining everything clearly to us, too. First of all, I'd just like to say that this is not a council decision. We like the city attorney said, we bound by the Constitution. So this is not a council decision. We have to be bound by the Constitution. Second thing is, it's not personal, Councilman Freeman. It's not personal at all. We pay our city attorney to interpret the law for us, to give us clarity within the law, and this ordinance was put on because of her recommendation, her understanding the law, and understanding the Constitution. So I'm voting because our city attorney has made this recommendation. Nothing personal, and it's not up to the council. It's up to the council to be bound by the Constitution. Nothing personal at all, Councilman Freeman. We pay the attorney to do her job, and she's doing her job. Sometimes we want to say we with her. Sometimes we want to be against her. I'm not like that. She bring the black and white. We ask for her recommendation. She have more knowledge or understanding the law than you or I. We pay her to do it, and she's done it. So, again, I agree with the city attorney, and I appreciate your comments and the clarity that you've made that this is not a councilman, this is not the council decision. This is the council being bound by the Constitution. Thank you.
Councilmember Freeman?
Thank you, Mayor. Just a few things before I make my motion. One, there isn't anything. There's a big gray area with this. There isn't a lot of law. Exactly. That's where I'm getting to. So we're about to go. We're gonna get there too. So there isn't a lot of things for us to refer to. What I would suggest possibly, if this thing ever came up again, that we put something in place in our city charter. There should be something in our city charter where if something like this happens that we refer to, here's the steps that somebody's notified, everything else. Because me speaking with Ms. Val, and I've already, we spoke about my complaint with it. I never received anything from Val. The first time I ever heard about this, really in saying that I was supposed to send her something in writing, was last Thursday. So I think there needs to be some type of procedure that if you're going to send up and ask for other attorneys' opinions, that included with those opinions should be the other side. You tell an attorney one side of a story, of course you most likely can get what you want to hear. So we need to put something in place where in the future, if something happens, that you give the person the opportunity, because I was voted with about close to 2/3 of the citizens' votes. So to overturn that and the citizens' will, I think we need to do a little more due diligence, whether it be put something in writing, notify the person to get back to us, to whatever it may be. But I think we owe the citizens that. So, it isn't in place, and it's a gray area like you've admitted before. So I just think that for us to put the burden on the citizens now as far as how much money we're going to pay a $50,000 election or a $150,000 election, I just don't think it's fair when, again, there was nothing in place as far as a procedure of, me telling you why I thought your views were wrong. So I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to go ahead and put my motion out that we direct.
All right.
You got your...
Yeah, I got my lighter.
Can I make my motion real quick while I have the floor?
Motion for what?
It's okay, he can make a motion.
can
You
talk.
Come back and
I can
I didn't
talk.
say you couldn't, man.
Okay,
I just
but
said the
then
motion.
let him make the motion.
All right. I'd like to make a motion that we direct our city attorney to request the AG's opinion, to make sure that we're doing the right thing before we spend this money. Because if you look at AG's opinions, if you look at some of the cases, I still feel that, everything that I've done up until this point falls well short. And for us to spend the money, I just don't think it's worth it. So I'll make a motion that we direct our city attorney to request the Attorney General's opinion.
And I'm going to ask you all to turn your lights, because you do know that the next person who speaks, if you will be during a second here. So, Councilmember Swati.
Second.
Okay. There's a motion and a second on the floor to direct the city attorney to seek an Attorney General's opinion in reference to this issue. City Secretary, do you want to do a roll call on that motion?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Councilmember Albright?
No.
Councilmember Mayor Pro Tem Frank? No. I apologize. Councilmember Freeman?
Yes.
Councilmember Hamilton?
No.
Councilmember Lewis?
No.
Councilmember Mosley?
No.
Councilmember Scott?
No.
Councilmember Swati?
Yes.
Mayor Prince?
Yes.
The motion fails.
Thank you. We will go back to the original ordinance. It's been moved in second that we approve. Oh, Councilmember Scott, if you still want to say something, that's fine.
No, that's okay, Mayor.
Okay, it's been moved in second that we approve proposed ordinance number 6478. City Secretary, would you do a roll call for the vote, please?
Councilmember Albright?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Frank?
Yes.
Councilmember Freeman?
No.
Councilmember Hamilton?
Yes.
Councilmember Lewis?
Yes.
Councilmember Mosley?
Yes.
Councilmember Scott?
Yes.
Councilmember Swati?
Yes.
Mayor Prince?
Yes.
Measure passes.
Thank you.